In the last episode of Metric's Dungeon, adventurers Eduardo and Winston decide to take one more pass at Olaf's remaining goods, finding a third set of armor, intended for a mage. With all their newfound weapons, they seek the knowledge of DUNNgeon, a mute dwarven blacksmith. Upon showing them a strange-looking axe, Elena, his wife, signs for the pair and relays that a dwarf more attuned with magic would know of a burn weapon such as this. Heading back to the inn to claim their reward for clearing the abandoned farm, they overhear a loud conversation upstairs. It is Parthen and a group of mercenaries having some sort of meeting. Parthen excitedly waves them over. Eduardo thinks he notices something behind the barrels. I will have a glance.
Oh, what's that? What's that little guy? Hmm.
Oh! I didn't see anything, Eduardo. What did you see?
There may or may not be one of those in every level since we started, and this is the first time someone's noticed.
Oh my god. Oh my...
Silly Eduardo, there's nothing there. The duo show Parthen the axe, hoping to learn more of its past. Parthen's demeanor changes immediately. They haven't seen him like this before. He takes the axe, demanding to know where they found it. It turns out that the axe belonged to his son. Winston successfully persuades Parthen to open up about his son's past. Parthen spills that his son should have known better than to work with Olaf, and just because he runs the markets of Nazul doesn't mean he can do whatever he wants. Realizing he said too much, Parthen invites the duo to join him in Nazul when they are ready. The pair meet with Robin to receive payment for clearing the farm. Winston sets the table as the pair accept their payment. After setting the table multiple times, Lauren, a companion of Robin, gives them a grave task. Retrieve her daughter's coffin and return it to her. The pair accept. The duo head off to the surgery to talk to Cavail, an ancient elf that seemed to really have it in for Winston. Upon entering the surgery, they hear drunken talking near the fireplace. It is Lummus. He is alive! A shadow of his former self, missing an eye and sipping on ale, he seems content to keep to himself. Whilst Winston joins Ferdinand, who is feeling further sad, and Lummus for a drink, Eduardo makes a plausible excuse and heads off for Ferdinand's belongings. Eduardo is returning from his pilfer party when he hears a clicking in his head, then a voice. Keep to yourself, youngling. It is Cavail. He beckons Eduardo to meet him in the surgery alone, instructing him not to bring the Ashen One. Is Winston the Ashen One? What does this mean? As Eduardo enters the surgery alone, the ancient elf Cavail approaches him and holds his hand to the back of his head, flooding Eduardo's mind with visions of a maelstrom of flame and terror and the burning of the mother tree. A crime that Cavail holds Winston responsible for, even though he was but a child. The sentence? Death. Cavail tells Eduardo to bring Winston in. As Winston walks into the surgery, he resists a sense of intestinal dread. If it weren't for his strong constitution, he may not have survived the pain. Cavail is visibly shocked that Winston is still standing. Nobody talks about what just happened, and Winston is none the wiser as he wasn't present for Eduardo and Cavail's secret chat. Quickly moving on, Cavail enlightens the duo to the true nature of the undead danger lurking in the woods. Eduardo manages to identify a dreadfully powerful staff, and Winston deciphers an inscription along the staff's shaft. It reads, "To turn the enemy's own hand against them." Overwhelmed by all he has just learned, Eduardo haphazardly hatches a plan to open a lock sterilization unit, and in doing so incurs the wrath of Cavail. If not for Eduardo's swift confession, Winston would surely be dead. The two leave immediately, as they have clearly overstayed their welcome. After hastily leaving Balar for the Utara camp, Winston begins questioning Eduardo about what had transpired, only to be interrupted by a cursed corpse they had left behind earlier in their journey. Penelope, a Utara scout they assisted earlier, leapt to their defense, and together they quickly dispatched the condemned elf and his wolves. You can almost hear the weeping of 3 children as the body falls to the ground. Having bested the monsters, they receive an invitation to camp from Penelope. Before the party continues, Winston asks Eduardo to continue their discussion about the crimes for which Winston is being held responsible. Eduardo explains what he was told by Cavail. Winston is the Ashen One. Between the pair, it is thought that divine intervention may be the only thing ever heard of that could cleanse the ash from the descendants of those who defile a mother tree. As Penelope guides the party through the Utara camp, she introduces them to the archivist before moving on to the commander. They notice the coffin they are tasked to retrieve for Lauren, but now is not the time to complete this task. Winston and Eduardo are introduced to the troop's commander and given an opportunity too good to pass up: earn a handsome wage and liberate Harran, a port of slavers. Eduardo's keen eyes alerted Winston to the fact that the sigils on the Utara commander's armor was identical to the House Goran, his mother's maiden house. Intrigued by this revelation, Winston pressed the commander on the origins of her mercenaries and the weapons she was carrying, using his amazing persuasive abilities. A battle of wits ensues.
Y'all ready for this?
Winston is successful, resulting in the revelation that he was in fact a Yatara in the making. And this is where our adventurers are. What happens next? Find out this week on Metrics Dungeon.
Hello, everybody. Welcome
Greetings
back.
and salty stations.
Yes, welcome. Yes.
Yes. All right.
We are, and we're ready to party.
I'm ready to party,
I'm also ready to party.
but I must make sure I gather my party before venturing forth.
Or
Oh yeah, we made a song.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Actually
yes,
pretty
FL Studio back in the day. I may have got the clip for the "You must gather your party before venturing forth" and made it into a very good song. Probably 1 out of 10.
Oh, that's pretty good on my books.
It's like, oh, that's pretty generous.
Yeah. Surprised you gave it a number.
So here we are again. We are ready for Metrics Dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
The man himself will join us momentarily once we click the button that allows him to do so. And then we will jump in. So hopefully everyone watched the recap and ready to go.
Know where we at?
I'm ready to go.
I also
Last week
know.
was pretty full on.
It was, and it set the stage for quite a large thing to happen. I believe quite a few big things that are going to be happening very soon. I believe.
Let's let's bring the man in. Bring him in.
I feel a presence. I can almost hear a voice.
It's almost Christmas.
Shit, I need to go buy some presents.
Here we go. Greetings.
Greetings and salty stations.
Oop.
Maybe.
All right.
Oh, hello.
Hey.
Oh, did you? Sorry, I didn't know if you could hear me or not.
We could not, but I'm glad we can now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a brief drop out there. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Just don't do it again. It's really good to taunt your DM before you start playing, I find.
Absolutely. Keeps them keen, you know.
Okay, let's switch into the divinity scene. We'll be floating a little bit. What's below us? What's happening?
Why are my legs gone, Christopher? What's happening?
So whenever you're ready, Mr. Metric Dunn, feel free to invite us into the
Yep.
game.
Barry should have an invite, and I'll send you one now too.
Thank you.
I do have an invite.
Barry, you're always first cab off the rank, aren't you?
I'm gonna say people.
Well, that was because we were always frightened that because he was the first character created, and we had all those problems having to reroll. Okay.
That is true. That is true. And
Yeah, it's just not worth the risk.
I think that is a very fair point. All right, hopefully this is gonna. There we go. There we go.
Perfect.
Okay, I'm still floating. We're good. Everyone's fine.
That's
Don't alt tab. Don't alt tab.
Do not touch that dial.
Do not touch that alty tabby.
Yes, the tabby cat.
Apparently, attacking guards in a city is one of the fastest ways to end your journey.
Oh wow, cool. Like, sweet. Let's wrap it up here, guys.
They're like, all right, guys, I think we're done with our journey.
Yeah.
God sees him.
Hey, finally.
Okay,
The
you're
end.
loaded.
Yep, I'm in.
All right, I am also almost loaded.
Ooh, that's all. That's.
All right.
It kind
Now-
of like faked me out.
Oh, did it?
It was
Yeah,
it
it'll
was
do
like
that.
It was
It'll-
like loading complete, and then it did like a little symbol-y thing.
Miniature. Yeah.
Now for secondary.
It'll give you a few seconds.
All right, we are here.
All right. Wonderful. Okay, so as you discovered last time, you are destined for greater things, Winston. We haven't learned anything else about Eduardo, but we've learned quite a few things about you. And
a
you're
lot of things about me.
yeah, you're currently conversing with the archivist, who has sent Penelope on her way to start staging the attack on her own port, and she's giving you your orders, instructions, as you have agreed to assist them in their assault.
We're going to stop that slaver scum.
Goddamn right.
Yep. And basically, your encounters with the Silver Canaries, you've discovered there's something going on there, something sinister. So you've decided it's probably best to do anything to stop them.
Makes sense to me.
All right. So she's just given you your orders and said, okay. And before you leave, she said you're going to go straight down the path you came originally from her on port. You're going to stop just before the town, and there'll be a small.
Are we paused intentionally?
Oh, sorry about that.
That's okay.
All right, there's a yeah. Anyway, yeah, cool. I was getting all excited, and I didn't.
I was like, I'm pretty sure we're
cool.
paused because he's going to load a new level or something.
No. All right, so basically, you've spoken to the archivist. She's given you your orders, and as she's basically, you're just going to go straight back the way you originally came. Just before the town, there'll be she and Penelope will be waiting for you.
Yes.
With a group of warriors to complete the sort of raiding party. Okay.
Nice.
Gotcha. Awesome.
And
Ocean's
as
11.
she, yep, as she bids you farewell, she points over to her right and says, "You've got some visitors."
Ooh.
And she walks off.
Oh, we do.
And you do.
Let's go.
I
Let's
see.
go greet them.
I see a couple of people there.
Shall we go say hello?
I think so.
Sounds like a good idea.
Oh, we're getting hotter as we do it. I recognize some of these people.
Greetings.
Hello, Lomas.
Lomas, and you have DUNNgeon and Jetro with you.
Cool,
It's
the wagon.
DUNNgeon.
Oh, sorry.
The underman
my
leans in.
mistake.
So,
What an interesting
Lomas,
dialect you have.
Lomas greets you, and he says, it's good to see you. And sort of, well, most of you, and points at his eye. He seems to be taking the injury in stride.
So this is actually the first time we've ever spoken to him, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Last time it was
you
just
Except I spoke to him a bit.
some drunken visions, and he looks at Eduardo, oddly remembering something about possibly unwanted back rubs.
That's right.
Hey, he liked it at the time. Right?
Eduardo Weinstein.
You wanted those back rubs. You wanted them.
He said yes.
After the fact.
Jeez.
All right.
That's bordering on a bad joke. What are you doing, Eduardo?
There we go.
There you go.
He gestures to the two fellows behind him and he says, I've come with these two. Parthen has made his way to Nazul, and he told us to stop by here, see if the Utara needed to do any business with us. And we heard that you were going off to help with a siege of some sorts, and Parthen suggested I offer my services. So the boys here will take Evelyn's coffin back to Bolar.
Ah, perfect.
We appreciate it.
And, yeah.
Look at them
And,
snatching up our task.
And I've been authorized to assist you on the raid.
Oh, fantastic. Hopefully we don't have to fire any arrows at anything. Hey, Llamas! Hey!
He just chuckles quietly, and you can see the tissue under his patch wincing.
Oh, poor guy.
Poor bugger.
He points to a bag just behind Eduardo and says, Parthen sent some gifts.
Ooh.
Oh, gifts.
All right, Eduardo, you can.
I love gifts.
You can have a glance. What have you got?
So
in that,
many things.
What do you got in that sack?
I've got sacks for days.
Oh man, you took them all.
And everything's for me.
Oh wow, you really did take everything. Do you want to tell us what's in there? Because
mainly, oh yeah, that's right. You don't know.
I can't see.
Mainly books.
Yes.
Mainly books.
But also,
and a quickly scrawled note from Parthen, which I read. I had a feeling you might need a little assistance.
oh, well, thank you, Parthen.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very
Let me
much.
give you.
What do you got there, fella?
Lomas explains to Winston that its ingredient, it's instructions on how to construct runes and their associated accessories.
Interesting.
Gotcha. How do I share stuff with?
You can drag it to the ground, I think. You would.
I think
he's never shared anything before.
I think you can drag it over his inventory.
Oh really?
I'm pretty sure. Here, look, I can do it. I think. Hold on a sec. Don't touch anything.
All right.
Oop,
Yeah.
oop.
I think you can do it yourself. But yeah, you can. If one of you reads them, you both get them.
Okay,
Gotcha.
But there was two runes in there,
I'm speed reading.
one for each of you. So I've chucked one over to Winston.
Yes, thank you for that. Thank you for that even sharing.
Well, Eduardo still kept a few things.
Yes, I know. I saw a whole bunch of other things that he didn't mention go across.
I'm trying to give you a ring.
Well,
Which will
there's no
help you.
phones haven't been invented yet, man.
Well, maybe I'll just give you a call then. How about take this? Nah, on the ground behind you, a ring. Say I do. Take me as I am.
Fucking hell.
Finally.
Jeez. All right.
Makes me so upset.
So Lomas says he'll make sure these guys get off all right, and then he'll meet you at the
Look after him.
the port.
Guess he doesn't need a knife for
All
that. Sounds good. We should head
He
down.
says he looks at you with a wink and goes, "I'm a man with a plan," and just wanders off.
Oh, he's got it sorted.
Oh, mate.
He's
Don't
got
even
it
have to worry about
sorted.
him anymore. Oh,
Should we,
I think we should continue on. Is there anything around here that we need? Oh, a death blade.
we can do
one-handed
runes
sword.
from here.
Oh, can we?
I just don't if I any. I've got space for runes in my armor.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yes, if you have any, you might want to put them in your armor.
DUNNgeon, welcome. Sorry, bro.
Dimension, what's
And
up?
what the hell?
he's like, what's up? What's up?
Yeah,
Oh.
frowny winky face.
Dimension,
What's
we're
up?
here. This is a small master nesty book view in your
You missed out on the hats too. We got really cool hats given us.
Dimension, you missed everything. You missed it all.
Why?
Why did you miss it, Dimension?
Just
Why?
saying.
Oh, while you're making runes, that hat I was wearing, I sent you a picture on Facebook. But
I didn't see it yet. I saw your message, but I didn't see the picture.
the hat I was wearing is like a Battleborn hat. I've never played. I own it from Humble Bundle, but I've never played Battleborn.
Oh.
But this I went to buy Overwatch for my brother, and JB Hi-Fi had it for like $70 or something. It was like $30 cheaper than even the Blizzard store. I was like, oh great, I'll go down and get it. And this young woman said to me, she goes, "Hey, we're meant to be giving away these hats with every purchase of Battleborn, but we haven't sold Battleborn at all in like a month, and we have like 200 hats. Would you like one?" And I was like, "Not really." And she looked at me like, "Oh."
You're like,
Okay.
please.
She
take
was
one.
like,
Gosh.
she looked really sad. Like she
Aw.
felt horrible for these people that had like played this game that was destroyed by Overwatch. And so I begrudgingly took the hat,
That's so funny.
and then it just sat on my cupboard for like 3 years
You know what's funny?
until then.
I think I actually also have a Battleborn hat, and I'm
Really?
pretty sure it was given to me when I bought a different unrelated game for the exact
Yeah,
same reason.
is it like yellow and grey?
Yeah, I do have that.
Yeah, it's like a really ugly color scheme. Yeah,
If
it's
you
just
live in
not a
Australia
pleasant.
around the time of Battleborn's failure, you
you-
could have a Battleborn hat for free.
That was a beautiful metaphor. Says well done.
Dimension. Oh, you started your double degree. Of course, your boy's tired.
Oof.
Jesus.
No wonder. Congrats.
Well, thank you for being here, Dimension. We appreciate it. You can wind down with a tail.
Yes.
All right, so what I've done, just so that everyone knows, I put 2 runes in. One increases my strength a little bit. The other one helps me protect against fire damage a little bit,
Oh, nice.
which makes sense because a lot of the damage I do is fire, and it can sometimes affect me.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense then. Yep.
Yes, absolutely.
So shall
All right,
we?
so
We're gonna head down.
Yeah.
all right, you're gonna move on. Yep.
I am following. What are your degrees in there, Dimension?
Alrighty, we'll move on from here.
Awesome, thank you.
Huzzah! I want to have a metagame pizza slice.
Not metagame. Has to be in the game, Christopher, or you can't eat it.
Well, I have dinner in the game.
Okay, that's true. I just consume dinner.
Oh,
And
hey,
then
ho, ha, ho,
the
ya.
holy
The holy
tri-tip.
triangle is here.
Oh, see, the thing is, all I can hear, I've got the, I can't really see what's going on. I've got a tiny screen to my left that's got like, just so I know nothing's going wrong, and and keeping on the chat, and all I can hear is, oh, 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 oh. I was like, what?
Like, all right.
And it's something about food, and then Chris,
the holy
some
triangle
sort of
was
orgasmic
arriving.
aneurysm.
Is there any other way to have an aneurysm?
It's the best way to die, frankly.
Yeah.
An orgasmic aneurysm.
You got to go in style.
All right. So you have arrived at the path you first travelled earlier on in your journey,
Interesting.
where you initially encountered undead wolves
That's right.
and terrified a party of bandits into fleeing.
That's right.
That's right, yep.
I could terrify them even easier now.
Perfect.
Oh, absolutely. All right. So
It's
Penelope
looking
beckons you
a lot
over.
more safe here now, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Now we've got the Utara here.
So Penelope's
There
called us
appears
over.
to be some temporary lodging, and the area seems to have improved. No storms recently, so
Interesting.
things are a little safer.
There's 2 books and a big old book.
Oh, that's a large book.
Yes, the big
Are
old
you
book
coming
is
over?
filled with.
Yeah, well, where are you? Oh. I was like, that's a weird looking NPC. That's my friend.
She called us over to say hello.
Sorry.
Penelope, well met.
Well met, Penelope. Whoa.
She greets you kindly with a smile and says, "I'm glad you're here. We've been surveying the area, and whilst we've kept them very busy, it's going to be a difficult siege, as they have protection of the water and of cliffs. So,
Interesting.
as you remember, it was sort of almost a valley of sorts out to the ocean and then into deep forest.
That's right.
They also have quite a few tall structures they can use. So you're going to have to get in. They don't suspect anything. That's what the archivist and
That's
Penelope
kind
believe.
of
that they
our
don't suspect
advantage.
anything.
Most definitely.
But they definitely have the
And-
home advantage, as it were.
There are
Fortified.
There are several Utara scattered around the area at the port, so we will be able to go with a pincer movement from one end to the other. However, again, they have a height advantage, which could make things very difficult.
Interesting. I say munching my dinner.
I thought Sean Connery had entered the room.
Interesting.
Okay,
Tennis.
both of you roll perception checks.
Sure thing. Holy
Let's do
shit,
it.
Dimension, by the way.
Dude, Dimension 4-year double degree. Audio production, engineering, contemporary music. Nice, man. Following your dreams.
Hell yeah, it's gonna be amazing,
Ooh.
bro.
That's some good rolls, boy.
All right, yeah, you both now make. I need to make 2 more rolls as well.
Love to-
I hope my roll is
Oh
homie.
wow,
Ooh. These are
both of
good
you
rolls.
done incredibly well there. Okay, so basically,
I'm gonna start a bakery.
that large book.
Yes.
Clearly, based on the pages you've seen and a couple of pages that the archivist has flicked through, it's written in sort of old common, which is the language of humans. It's basically English, right? The equivalent. It's old English, though. So, Winston, you've clearly identified some of the words that you know due to your lineage, and it's a book on fighting powerful undead.
Interesting.
It's basically a monster manual.
Oh, gotcha.
Sweet.
And Eduardo noticed quite a few things he's seen before on a strange tropical island.
Uh-huh.
Tell us more of this tropical island.
Please.
But that's all he remembers is the warm heat of the sun and screeching creatures. So basically, that's what you've noticed from the book.
Interesting.
And
I might ask Penelope. Maybe I'll ask the archivist actually, whose name I don't know.
she's just been introduced as the archivist.
Archivist.
Yes,
What?
dear.
What say you of that book in front of you? It's I noticed due to my amazing education that it is a book of monsters, particularly the monsters we might see.
Just a precaution, dear. Just a precaution.
Since we're being precautious, is there anything that we need to know? Any tactics that might not be obvious to us?
Archivist, are you okay?
Well, let's find out.
Oh my god.
Oh wow!
Oh, that's a critical failure!
Wow!
Shit.
What is wrong with you?
That is the lowest roll that I can make
Crit
with
fail.
my persuasion.
Oh, damn.
And I
Oh
only
my
failed
God.
Because I rolled a 1. Holy shit.
still got 17.
You sort of fumble over your words and she sees a bit of panic in your speech pattern and she says, Don't worry. We've got it handled.
I guess the funny,
Holy fire, holy fire.
the funny
And
thing
she
was
just
I actually
waves you
did
off.
fumble over my words.
You're like,
Literally,
oh,
that's
what
the-
is this book? And she's like, just a record. She's like, happy birthday.
I'm like, what books? Two
Book.
books. I'm just gonna put this on the
Penelope
table
sort
because
of-
it's like it's what I'm actually eating at the moment.
God.
Pizza.
Oh,
Penelope
when I go for a bite, I'll just-
precociously
oh,
giggles as you're sort of fumbling around.
oh man.
Basically, the archivist goes, don't worry. Holy fire if
She'll
anything
be
goes
right.
wrong.
Oh man.
Basically, yeah. Chuck a few healing spells. Healing never hurts. Just throw it around if you worry.
Interesting.
Nice.
She,
So I feel like we still snuck a few hints out of that. So that's
Yeah, that was pretty good.
the archivist eyes Eduardo and says, winking and eyebrows, and she throws a hand on the table and she goes,
good. Oh.
we don't have any elves with us at the moment. Do me a favor.
Yum.
I know what I must do, and I just like sort of start sniffing it like a fine wine. Like I don't know how it was like swishing it around.
At least the one thing you can say is that it's not full-bodied.
She appears rather entertained by the whole charade. All right, so you're going to consume it?
You're gonna
I
bite
will.
down on that.
I toss around the idea of throwing out an anyone need a hand pun, but then I think better of
Oh,
an eat a
God.
hand anyway.
So you've eaten.
As-
You've bitten down
that-
to get some memories.
Yeah.
Yep, the hand is fresh and crisp, as if it's been kept in a fisherman's store.
Oh,
A little salty.
delicious.
You get a quick flash,
Oh.
and you're the Winston again. You get a quick flash of memory, and you smell strong sea salt on the air. The hot sun,
Oh,
and then an agonizing pain in your chest
Uh-oh.
as the life drains from you, and you
Oh,
see a
man.
tall elf in a captain's hat.
pirate.
That's it.
You're salty AF.
Absolutely.
Oh God.
Well, I'm sure he was salty because he's dead. I'd be very annoyed about that.
Well seasoned he was.
So what happened?
Nice.
What did you seize? And
High seas on the high seas, and I was a man, and I was it was sunny and salty at the same time. Make of that what you will. And then I died.
which
There was an elf with a captain's hat, and he made me pass away on purpose.
so oh man. I need to roll a
Whoa.
dice to like comprehend Barry's like weird child speak for some reason.
Do you speak Eduardo?
I do.
All right, you are both incredibly sharp today, and you remember you flash straight back to when you first arrived on the shores of Haran, and you saw a man atop a ladder that appeared to be a large, very tall elf, probably 8 feet tall, which is tall for an elf. Elves average about 7 feet,
So,
and he was about 8 feet tall. Had a menacing axe that gleamed in the sunlight and watched your every move while you were there.
what a creep.
But never interacted with you.
That's interesting.
Okay.
Did you recognize the elf, Eduardo?
Yes, you both passed that check. You both remember that vaguely?
But do we recognize the elf as
As the same elf in that, yes. He's the same elf in the vision.
Oh, interesting.
interesting?
Eduardo.
Does that mean that elf is now dead?
No.
No, the elf that was the murderer
Oh
was,
shit.
was the
Yeah.
one.
Damn son, now we're
Yeah.
getting followed by a bloody tall, angry elf. Perhaps.
Big boy wasn't too big to climb, I guess.
Also pretending that's hilarious. Okay, so that's interesting.
Winston, do you remember that man who was atop the ladder back at port?
I do.
Well then, have I got some juicy gossip for you?
Well, we both remembered.
Click now.
Somehow.
It was him in my vision, the man who killed.
Why are you
who killed
talking
me.
like an invalid?
I'm just feeling a little bit woozy is all.
He's pizza log. Why did you go like, see? You see? In a minute, you're going to have a Tommy gun and a Tommy
man.
gun and a trilby hat or something.
We've lost Eduardo. We've lost him.
Something's gone terribly wrong with
Interesting.
my
So I
brain
guess we should be
function.
on the lookout for tall elves
Right.
because they might be out
So
to get
the
us.
the archivist
well.
and Penelope overheard that, and
Yeah.
they've been filled in.
Phew,
So
well,
it
they
doesn't
can
need to be any
understand.
more conversation on that. So they've said we've got to wait about 2 hours before we can start the trek.
That's because I had a meal. I can't
So
swim
if
straight
you
away.
if you want to go sit by the fire with the other troops,
Absolutely.
feel free. If not, there's sleeping bags near a fire over there, and you can get some rest.
Let's go rest our weary buttocks.
Yes, my ass is killing me. Thank you
Thank you.
for your hospitableness.
May I head off to...
Let's have a chat to these guys.
Let's have a chat.
Let's have a chatty poos.
We like making friends. Friends?
I sit down in the chair whilst making an exaggeratedly loud yawning sound.
The young woman directly across from you yawns as well, and then a chain of people yawn instinctively.
Oh man.
I quietly smile to myself.
Dimension asked if we can texture Barry's armor to be like mafia style.
Oh god, like what with...
Oh, look, I could probably mod that in. It'd take a bit of effort, but I could probably get.
Oh man.
Give
I
him
don't
Tommy
think, I
gun.
don't think
Tommy-
he's earned it yet. Maybe if he talks
No.
like an adult for the rest of the stream.
Ah, we'll see how it goes, man. She's gonna go
Yeah.
downstairs.
Now you're verging on like the Batman's penguin.
Yeah.
Like now you're kind of gone Cobblepot.
Better back away from that one, eh?
That-
Too far, too
That's.
far.
I'm gonna make that Eduardo's middle name if we're not careful. I'm just gonna force it in. Okay. So anyway, enough out of context. We got things to do.
Yes.
Basically, the medic, the one with the staff, just next to Eduardo, welcomes you and says, "Help yourself to, pretend there's marshmallows on the fire. Help yourself to marshmallows, whatever,
Oh, the party's over.
I enjoy a marshmallow.
Perfect.
And
Yum.
the gentleman directly across with the wolf shield on his back goes, "What are you pricks doing here?"
Oh. I guess we'll find out in a second.
Oh,
Ooh.
not doing much by the looks of my rolls. Yawning loudly.
Chris, you remember this is the man you originally encountered when
Ooh.
you alerted them to the problems that Penelope was having.
Oh, that's right, and we fumbled the conversation.
And he also appears to be in gear that is not quite as high quality as the rest of his troop. He goes, "First my armor goes missing.
Oh, yes.
Some bastards pilfered it, and then you pricks show up. God, I'm gonna die on this bloody raid, aren't I?"
Do you believe in chance?
I feel like it's time to deploy my...
Oh, Chris,
Persuasion.
no, don't say you're his brother.
No, I'm not
Please.
going to say that.
I am your sword. Do you remember your cuirass that you went missing? I am it.
That's right.
I became a real man.
I am your armor. I am sentient. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
I know that we have many things to do. We're in a silly mood. Fear not, for we are here. I say persuasively.
Cool. You did a good job.
Okay, so he's really not a fan of yours, so you're not going to get quite the bonus you normally would, but let's
That's
see how
fine. That's fine.
see if that inspires him.
Still plus 12.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Fear
There you go.
not, for we are here. And all of a sudden he'll feel.
All right,
enlightened.
he seems to perk up, and all the others seem to be quite encouraged.
That's good. I'm gonna actually encourage everybody
Wow, it's
right
so,
after my speech.
so cheap.
Encouragement.
He just encouraged me. I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, Winston. I need a cheer squad.
I mean, I'd
We'll-
cheer
we'll
quite
make
a
Yeah,
lot.
he
Something.
takes
If he survives,
he
Yes.
takes a big swig of his drink,
he's happy.
and he goes, "For the Atara!"
Yes,
For the katana, I say as well, and
I-
eating mackerel.
I say for the Atara correctly.
Yeah, I just sort of like, I just want to go in with him. He said
Katana,
katana.
and someone goes, "Oh, a short katana."
Who knows katana?
And the medic sort of chats quietly to you and says, "I saw how bad the other medic back at camp was, and it's a good thing you came and alerted us, because I don't think she would have made it without some fortifications and some food and water and other medical supplies. So I thank you for that."
We were just doing what anyone would do in that situation.
Our pleasure. I think quietly to myself, she had nothing good to steal, so that's why she's still wearing clothes.
Fucking hell, I did not think that.
That was just a thought, like, you know,
well, you can
people
think
can
that.
think things.
Yeah, you said it was a thought. You're allowed to think whatever you want. Winston,
right.
you're not Winston Eduardo. You're a person who has feelings and thoughts. Express them.
Good boy.
Just make sure we know their thoughts. That's
I'm
all.
greasy.
Greasy Eduardo.
Okay, so it's been about an hour. You've been sitting here chatting,
Yes.
and sort of you can hear Penelope and the archivist back there, sort of getting gear together and finalizing. You know, you can hear, aha, oh yes, we should do that. Oh, you know, generic background planning and things.
We should do that.
The clearly 70 or 80-year-old women and the attractive. Yeah, well, I mean, look, Rule 34, man. If you can think of it,
Exactly. Right.
it's your Rule 34 personified. You think of it.
Bettina says kumbaya.
Okay, so as the
But yeah, indeed.
That's great.
Shit, God. The starts to rain a little as the sun rises.
Oh. Ooh. So it's raining.
Just a light drizzle.
It's raining.
And
man, hallelujah. Sorry.
Penelope, no, I wasn't offended. I love. All right, Penelope comes across, and she starts speaking in a language you don't recognize.
Neither of us recognize?
You can both make perception checks.
Please.
Interesting. Gotta make those checks.
Check. Oh, that's a solid 12.
Oh.
Okay, now, you both technically failed, but Barry passed because I couldn't put an individual modifier on his, which sounds weird, but you have quite the modifier with that one.
Oh, no.
You've heard that language before from a very, very close loved one of yours, Uncle Pineapple.
Oh, interesting.
Unky naps. I think to myself quietly.
And that's all you know. It doesn't sound quite
You're not gonna
quite
tell
like
me?
the way Unky Naps used to say it.
Eduardo's a very difficult companion.
And Winston, you can't recognize it. It just sounds like absolute gibberish.
Well, I just
Eduardo
sit staring at the fire.
Eduardo got a basic gist of it, like, you know, report for ... arrive at ... prepare for battle. Basically,
She's
that's all
talking
it
in
said. It was
Morse
nothing.
Dot,
Exactly.
dot.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll just start saying etc.
I'm just going to sit there until Eduardo tells me something, if he does.
I'd lean back to
Alright.
that lady,
Yes.
Penelope, and say, What was that? What was that? What were you speaking? I know.
Oh, it's just the tongue that we use for the training and discipline of the troops.
Interesting.
Okay.
Well, I can't help because I don't know what you're talking about.
I lean in close to Winston and say, Unky Naps used to say the same things, i.e. his language was the same as what she said.
You are
Struggling?
off your fucking nuts today.
A little bit. I think I'm tired.
I think you might be delirious. I lean over to Penelope.
Yep.
So you use that language with the troops, do you?
Yes.
Nice leading question. Where does it originate from?
Oh. Okay.
Bettina, please. This is a...
He's like, "Ooh."
Yeah.
Let's try it.
There was a couple of rolls behind there. Tongue we use for training. Jesus Christ,
The
Bettina.
tongue we use for training.
I like you, Bettina. Oh wow.
She's good.
That was
tongue go
platonically, Bettina. Don't get.
So she's a training tongue.
Yes.
Well, okay.
Eduardo.
So that was a pretty. I must admit, she was pretty resistant. She's you needed like a 27 to pass that, so
wow.
you did well.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very perceptive.
she's very well trained, very high.
Oh.
I'm gonna start convincing people that they are part of my family soon.
Yeah.
So you get more bonuses towards it. The fact that she likes the two of you helped.
Okay.
She goes, it's an adapted language from the ancestors of House Gorin and another group. It's not something we really talk about, and I'm not authorized to tell anyone who isn't a member of the ranks. So
Interesting.
that's all I'm going to divulge.
Ooh,
Now it's time for us to move along.
Ooh.
We've just been ushered.
I feel like I want to press one more time.
And she starts to move along.
She's
Well,
gone,
if you
she's
want to,
Gone.
if you want to yell out, if you want to catch up with her before you leave the area, you could try.
No, it's
You
okay.
scream at you like, hey.
I'll wait till the window's more open because obviously she doesn't want to talk about it right now.
Yeah.
Should be less. Should be harder to push.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, maybe right after the victory of the battle would be a good time to.
We've won. Tell
So
me
what was
more.
that?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Don't even lie, Martini. You're getting
twinning.
super expired. Oh,
Okay,
that
that-
around.
That was beautiful.
Blackjack.
All right, so the two of you both notice this independently. On the lines of the edges of the armor, like along the sort of nose piece of the helmets and on the sort of just around the collars of the arm, you would say, right? That same, like a writing that you both recognize as possibly Zis
Ooh.
in the
what?
written form.
Huh. On the armor of the people around us.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
It's an odd dialect. You don't know if it's the same one she just spoke, but it looks like this.
But this is
However,
bad,
there's a sprinkling of Old Common in there.
Huh. Oh.
Hey there.
You hear
Sorry, my
as you're
my game froze.
as you're
as per
oh
usual.
sorry,
It's okay. I'm not sure why.
technical difficulties or just
Oh.
It's running
Oh
again.
my god, it came back.
What the
I
hell?
feel like we only get one of those.
no, like unless you alter the game. I've had it happen occasionally. It'll freeze if it's doing anything in the like if something happens in the background, just go. Oh.
Yeah, really. It's
Okay.
okay.
Okay, so
Okay,
I'll actually just
we're
do
good.
something important right now.
Yes.
Same,
Um,
yes, good choice.
So
Just
as
forever.
you're sort of thinking to yourselves about the armor, you hear a "Ooh,"
Ooh,
and
Gorillas.
everyone starts to move on.
it's time for us to go.
So
Should we hang
you're
back
going to
and have a
follow them.
chat? We will, but I think we might hang back and have a quick chat.
All right, they're all moving along.
Okay.
Let's
So
move along independently.
Eduardo, come over here.
I'm coming.
Come over here.
Better be fish.
There will be. Just trust me.
Can't
It's
use.
always fish.
Hey,
Hey.
hey. I like how we're not looking at each other.
Yeah, we're like I hold up a newspaper with eyes cut out in it.
Yeah.
Eduardo.
you spend 10 minutes carving through a book.
Yeah, just like straight through a book. Luckily, I realized at the end of it I haven't read that one yet.
Yeah, I feel like it's okay.
Hey, this is interesting, isn't it?
Very interesting. Do you notice the writing on the armor?
Yeah, I did. And I noticed that as well. There's this. With a bit of old English. Ye old.
Ye oldie?
And Penelope seemed kind of a bit skittish when I asked her about the language.
Yeah.
Not
She
what
said
that
she
means.
wasn't authorized.
What does she mean by that?
Don't know. Who's higher than Penelope?
Something does seem fishy, chat.
Did you say fishy? Mackerel? Delish. Thank you, Bettina.
We're rolling.
5.
Oh, wow.
It's not
Don't-
good. We know
You
there's
don't
nothing.
remember anything at all. You don't remember anything at all.
Oh, no.
Who am I?
So we know that the Zis is not correct. And we know that your uncle is of questionable... What do you remember of your uncle, Eduardo?
Unky Nappy Naps. He was a good man. A very good man.
What else do you remember?
He's my uncle.
Seek back into your knowledge that you don't know.
Ah,
Make a roll.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh, I remember a lot
All
about
right,
uncle, I
so
think.
as Eduardo has remembered in previous travels,
From Uncle Pineapple.
Uncle Pineapple is bright yellow
Oh, God.
with green hair, or what he thinks is hair. He's not sure.
Interesting.
He was a very nice man with many, many friends, and he lived a very exciting lifestyle on a tropical island that Eduardo was found on.
Interesting.
Unky Pineapple, or Unky Nap Nap, as Eduardo would call him, found poor Eduardo's pod, basically his growth pod, severed from his tree, floating in the ocean, and he rescued him
Oh.
and cultivated the poor lad back to life,
Interesting.
and always treated him well.
So you
And
remember
Eduardo
him
has lived
very
with him
fondly.
for the first sort of. I believe we agreed that Eduardo was 90
Yeah,
something.
Yeah.
round
He
about.
doesn't know for certain.
He's not sure.
He's around 90. So until he was about 85, he lived with Uncle Pineapple solely.
Oh wow, that explains.
And
a lot.
Uncle Pineapple did not appear to age significantly in that time. You remember?
Actually, that's one thing that we haven't asked about Uncle Pineapple.
No.
Was he also an elf, Eduardo? You never told me before.
He... We'll be right back after this ad break.
Do you remember that Uncle Pineapple had a tail and
Oh,
talons,
interesting.
but he would never swipe it at you or scratch you.
This is
Never.
becoming very strange.
What I remember of him, Winston, is that he had a tail and talons, but he was yellow with green hair?
Huh.
I don't know for sure.
Well,
I don't think he's an elf.
Well, we better head on before they get suspicious.
Let's go. He never hurt me. Let's go.
But as I walk off, I wonder to myself, search my memories to see if I have ever encountered an animal or creature that has those similar markings, or has that, like, has a tail and has horns. Ooh, I remember strongly that.
You remember back to the days in the tower with your wizened tutor, speaking of a race of creatures known as the Zis,
Oh,
that were tall, almost eternally youthful lizards, that were known for having powerful arcane... well, they were powerful in the arcane, put it that way.
interesting.
Known for slavery. And pretty nationalistic. Definitely the type. They're the ones that invaded
Yes,
this
that's right.
continent, making it the cursed continent.
That's right. Perhaps
You remember
Perhaps
you remember
Eduardo
that,
is a. What else do I remember?
many types of this,
Hmm.
based on where they're like turtles. They're reptilian. So based on where they're born and the temperature varies their coloration and temperament.
Interesting. That's interesting. Maybe he's a good Zis. Maybe Zis is not the Zis we are looking for.
Maybe this is correct.
This is not the this.
I'll keep that to
You know
myself
nothing,
for
yeah.
now because I don't want to demoralize you from the battle.
Alright. I'm like content with happy warm thoughts of Uncle Talon
Okay.
Pineapple.
Okay, we're ready to move
Yeah,
on.
yeah. Talons that would never harm you.
So,
Okay,
I may,
so-
I may have to bring that up later though.
Shit.
You travel cautiously towards the port. Everyone in degrees of full plate and armor, just enough taken off to get them there quickly.
Except for one guy.
But yes,
So hold on. So we're re-invading Harran Port, correct? Because it
Yes.
got
I
overrun.
wouldn't say invading.
Well, defending. I mean,
liberating.
Liberating.
Depends
Yeah,
on
liberating.
depends on what. I mean, depends on what side you're on. One's invading. One's you know.
So that
We
makes
won't be having
sense.
any Harran Port days on the.
Okay, we
So
are here.
it makes sense. You know how I ate the hand, and I was a person who got killed by a tall elf. So they must have been implanted there and just sort of.
They were there the whole time we were there.
Yeah, we're given a signal and then just turned.
Ah, that's a good connection
So,
to make that
yeah.
you told me out loud. I feel like I might put my helmet on for the first time.
I didn't realize.
Oh yeah, you both might want to do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do
Visibly. I mean, my helmet is always on, but now it's visibly on because I.
Yeah, of course.
that. Look how much armor
Alright.
I've got on my head. It's trees. It's branches.
As you arrive, the area is clearly heavily fortified. Several wagons block the main path, and plenty of crates provide some cover. You arrive to see Penelope speaking with an old sailor couple of recruits, and Francis, the man you met when you first arrived.
That's right.
Francis greets you as he's the first to see you. He says, "Oh, welcome, my friends. It's lovely to see you again. I'm sorry you've come back in such circumstances."
I pause briefly because I have noticed something just off to my vision. What is it? What's this over here? Is it Barty the Rat?
It's probably nothing, Christopher. Let me have a look.
You better have a look. I seem to see something. Maybe if Eduardo has a look.
Oh, I think I see something over behind the well.
Oh, no, there's nothing there.
Oh.
Never mind.
It's nothing to see here, ladies and gentlemen. No, nothing. Zero. Zilch to see. Cool.
Yeah, I guess I didn't see anything either.
Yeah, no, of course. Never. My best friend does not is correct. Fantastic.
Okay.
Bettina, it's not a tumor and it is not a rat, obviously.
Sorry, excuse my absent-mindedness. Where were we?
No, that's fine. So Francis sort of says, "They've taken my port. They've been keeping me captive here for months."
How did he escape? How did you escape, Francis?
And he goes, "Well, I'm still here. I haven't been able to get past the area, but I was able to slip a note to my old friend here," and he points to the merchant sailor next to him, and says, "And I knew he was an Otara once.
Interesting.
And might be able to give me some help." And so yeah, that's how he's been allowed to get this far, because they've been distracted, because they're making tons of money whilst
Like they're actually like
doing this as well.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now,
Francis,
both
you've
of you-
obviously been here. Oh no, it's time for a roll.
no, go. Yeah. You
Rolling. Whoa!
okay?
That's a lucky 7. Don't be too shy.
Okay.
Did you roll?
Now
I didn't roll.
you.
Oh.
Yeah. It was because it had to be double selected.
Uh-huh. What?
Oh,
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a number.
And you notice a small reflection hitting right near your cheekbones.
well, someone does. Yeah.
And you spy, or yes, obviously Eduardo, and you spy that Lomas is sitting atop the tower you initially saw that tall elf at. Seems to be conversing with someone
Oh, yes.
and signaling you at the same time. It doesn't seem to be a warning signal. It seems to be sort of a, whenever you're ready signal.
There's no urgency to it. Okay.
Lomas,
It doesn't appear to be
sly
urgent.
dog.
It's sort of like, the airplane's coming down and they're just wheeling it in sort of thing.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. And as Francis is talking to you, the sailor interjects and he goes, "It's now or never. We have to do this. I'm going to go back to my ship and I'm going to try and provide as much distraction as possible." He salutes Penelope and he moves off towards his ship.
That sailor looks pretty powerful.
Yeah. Did you see his weapons?
Yeah. Did you see
And,
that guy's knives?
That's sort of nice. And Penelope then gestures to you, and she says, "I hope his leg will hold up."
Oh.
And
What happened to his
you
leg?
quickly
Is he lost
remember that when they explained how to contact it, he suffered a serious injury while he was working for the Otara, and basically was paid out and decided to sail for the rest of his life, so he could soak his foot every day.
Oh, poor bloke.
Interesting.
And so she tells Francis to go back to his post and look like nothing's, don't do anything strange, and when you're ready, go for it.
All right, I'm going to
Right,
ask Francis
give it
one
a
thing.
signal.
Francis, before you leave!
Oh, yes,
Francis.
yes.
What?
Francis, before you leave, you've been here longer than we have. Is there anything we should know? Any vantage points you can think of? Any tactics we could deploy?
They hold all the vantage points. However, I was working with the Utara to get barrels of oil and cursed oil that they had, that the Silver Canaries had, strategically placed around as best we can to limit some movement.
Interesting.
You should be able to box them in and light the place up.
Gotcha. That's what I do best. I give him a little.
And then
wink and a nudge.
and he winks back and he moves towards the merchant sailor.
He gets it.
He looks very nervous. He's sort of like, when the server comes up and goes like, "Oh, enjoy your meal, and you're like, you too. It's basically that. He's in that
yeah,
stage
right.
of his life right now.
He's just like, okay. Okay. All right,
Okay.
I feel like we're pretty good to go.
I think so. So, let's talk tactics.
Okay, so you guys are gonna. She's gonna. Penelope. Penelope is going to basically walk in through the gap you can see there.
Yep.
She's going to go straight for. She's identified a mage, and she's going to go straight for him.
Oh yes. Yep.
Gotcha. Yep.
Lomas
mage.
is going to keep the elf busy for as long as he can.
Jeez, how the hell Lomas get up
Well-
there? That's pretty crafty.
Well, there's a ladder,
Well, all right.
Well, fair
Yeah,
enough.
it's got a
and Lomas has been dealing with this place since before any of you were born.
True.
So he's a few hundred years old. He's not young. So he knows his way around. He knows his way around the people. So basically, she says he's going to keep them busy. These two recruits will go in just ahead of us, and they're going to move in now. And then you two are going to follow and bring up the rear.
All right, let's do this.
All right. I'm ready.
Okay, she'll give you the signal,
That's right. I draw my sword. For
and when you're
virtue!
ready,
I whisper.
For personal gain, I think.
He's like, I don't know anymore.
all right,
The
she's
thing is my
moving
favourite
through.
part.
She's going to go right for that mage.
All right.
Okay. Everything's calm. Everyone's a couple of silver canaries are chatting. You're just looking busy. Nothing unusual is going on. Just chatting away, and then all of a sudden,
Oh lord.
you just hear from Lomas, "Woohoo!" and then everyone attacks. Oh,
Oop.
Uh-oh.
Anticipation. Dun,
Oh.
dun, dun.
oh, sorry about that. There appears to have been a glitch.
Oh dear.
The battle is postponed.
Yeah.
Oh, that is not good. Yeah, my apologies.
Till tomorrow.
Yeah, okay, hold on. Oh, far out. I might have to.
That's right. I'm gonna have eat an orange.
Oh, delicious.
Sorry about that. The encounter system seems to have.
Well, at least we're the only one that not the only ones that have tech stormer issues.
Yeah, exactly right. Thank you. Welcome to the fold.
Here we go. Found it.
Huzzah!
Haha!
As I was saying.
No,
once
and
again, ready
the
for-
enemy attack. Yes,
Oh.
I apologize for that.
Oh no!
Greatly.
All the animals are run away.
Well, good because they're gonna burn otherwise.
Yay! Fried steaks.
Then the patrons are running away as well. That's cool. Okay.
Oh, that's sick.
All right. It's you,
Yeah,
Baz.
All right, my turn.
Now, what have we got?
How can I attack this oil barrel? I know how.
You've got throwing things, don't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna throw a knife.
Are you gonna get hit in the blast? You'll be right. Ooh, the cursed oil has cursed the floor.
Curse add oils. So that's a bit silly of me because now I've got to get up close and hit this guy in the face.
Maybe you attack someone else because I can set that oil on fire.
All right. Oh well, you know what I'll do?
Also, if you move into it, you might explode.
That's a fair call. I've also got a weapon with fire damage. So yeah, good point.
Oh yeah, we saw what happened when that other guy didn't know about that.
Alright, so we'll try some of this. Ushta.
Nice.
Yeah, you like that, don't you? You
Get yourself into the battle.
dirty boy.
Actually, he's flanked now.
Yep, so am I. Whoops. That's a
Ooh.
bad time. Ouch.
You just got marksman fanged.
Yowie.
Ooh.
Tactical retreat. Shit. Retreat right into the attack. Smart boy.
Alright, let's see what Penelope's got.
Penelope goes straight for the jugular.
Ooh.
Oof.
Oh, damn.
Oh, damn. Alright, she's strong.
Oh, we got one dude over here. He's been hiding in the corner.
What a twit.
Oof.
Oh no, that's
no.
you.
Oh.
Oosht.
Alright, come on, Lomas. Oh no, he is
yes.
sharpshooting.
Well, I guess he doesn't have to close one of his eyes to get a.
Oh, he got a bloody
shot.
critical hit.
What the hell?
But how? He only has one eye.
Oh, he just killed the dude. Nice.
Lomas
Yeah.
seems
No, he's still alive.
very
He's still-
well equipped.
Damn.
That's
right.
He does.
Eduardo was jealous, but doesn't know why.
Yeah, exactly right.
Okay, we've got our own sniper dude here as well. Maybe
He was. The poor sniper. The poor sniper was
Damn.
absolutely destroyed by the the oil left out by a certain person.
Perfect. I like gleefully clap to myself.
But that's the sniper was our guy.
I still gleefully clap.
Damn.
I feel bad a little bit, but I still gleefully clap. Just the explosion was nice.
Eduardo, you were definitely like, you must be chaotic neutral.
Well, look, I'm good neutral, but like just knowing that I did something, even though it was a bad thing, I still did it.
That's not good.
I had an effect on the battle.
That's not the definition of good by the rules of this game.
That's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I just lost some good points towards neutral.
Absolutely. Alright. I'm just like
wow.
ready to be involved.
The Atara seem to be fairly well organized.
Yeah, really.
Sing, you canary! Oh, I got teleported.
Ooh.
Oh, that mage is gonna get it.
Are we gonna get it? He really is gonna get it. Ooh,
Interesting. Oh, that mage just like sacrificed his own dude. He did not care.
Oh, man.
Tried to blow me up.
Don't give two dicks about it.
Francis is joining the battle.
Francis, you...
Indeed, he is.
Francis, smash!
So, just a quick update. We've got a Silver Canary in the east of the town. I've also got someone just inside the inn as well.
Oh,
He pierces the heart of the mage with
taking
his,
the mage out
Wow.
for a lovely dinner.
and he offers some healing to Winston.
Thank you.
Delish.
I feel fantastic.
And you look
Oh, good. I'm about to get my first attack. I need to work on my initiative.
Yeah, you do go very late. I guess you're quite powerful though.
All right.
You are shocked
Alrighty.
though.
Shocked, but also amazed.
Yeah.
All right, I can jump in wherever I need to be. So where do we go? We got a few dudes here. Warrior, archer, warrior. I could probably charge them.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
we got 3 silver canaries up in there surrounding me and a mage.
Oh, because I'll be able to hit both these guys. The fire will hurt, but it shouldn't hurt too much.
Okay.
Nice.
Well done.
Okay,
I had physical armor.
that's okay.
Oh damn.
And I will... If I put Shackles of Pain on... No, that won't work.
The armor needs to be off.
Yes. Very well. Can I heal myself if I do this? Yes, I do. Is that physical damage? Yes, it is. Physical... They all still have their physical armor.
Physically.
As do
fit.
I might just go for a standard battle stomp.
Oh, you know it'll be.
That's all I
You
could
can
do.
you can just attack. You don't need to do an ability every time. Just for your own.
That is true. I was trying to find out how to get back to the normal abilities, but that's okay.
Francis is smashed over the head with a hammer and does not seem very comfortable at all. Seems very, very frightened. Not like he's built for battle.
Although he's quite strong though.
Yeah, really. He just tanked that hit. I like that guy's cape.
Uh-oh. If Eduardo likes it.
It'd be very unfortunate if he didn't make it out of the battle and someone acquired that cape.
You were definitely not a good character.
I'm just wondering. Merchant Sailor, what's your
Okay.
Uh-oh. Something's happening.
He just heard him. I think he's turned.
The merchant sailor slams into the enemy.
Oh.
With a miss.
No, someone missed him.
That's someone missed him. Oh. He's agile.
I miss him.
You're like an evil, weirdly homoerotic character.
Yeah, I think he must be deluded as well because he.
It's not like a healthy,
he seems
normal
to think he's
homoeroticism.
good as
It's
well.
yeah, it's not like normal. It's not like it's just gay. It's weird gay. It's it's like weird anything. It's like
Baz, you just stunned me.
Huh?
next minute
I'm
it'll be in
I'm right
defeat.
there.
What do you mean? I didn't do that.
What? That is you, right now. You stunned me.
But how did I stun you?
Well, I'm stunned, and you stunned them.
But I didn't do it. That wasn't me.
Okay, what are you doing now?
Doing this. Nothing. Well, almost got him.
Oh, he's very close to dead.
Point blank, you
Damn.
son of a bitch.
I'm gonna need some healing soon, I think. Actually, no, I'm full of health.
I look at the enemy disappointedly, knowing that he shot me twice from point blank range. He's close enough to see my expression. I'm just like,
I might need to try and get rid of some of this fire. Equalize.
Ooh.
Ooh, what just happened?
oh no, that was good though. You got
Ooh,
some armor
I
back.
got some magic armor back.
Oh boy.
Blessed oil. That's good.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Holy fire.
That's helping them too, isn't it?
Damn, I just got critical hit like a bitch.
Oosh.
Whoosh kaboosh. That's
The archer doesn't seem to be interested in living, as he just moved with an enemy right behind him.
Oh, here we go.
Lomas. Lomas.
Lomas yells out. Lomas yells out. Yeah, exactly. I'm a bit busy up here, boys, and he only manages to get one shot off.
Oh, but that's fine.
But it's a hard shot.
It's a good shot.
Very effective shot.
Good shot.
Jesus.
He's just being cocky. Caw-caw.
Wow.
Because I really don't get a lot of fighting in.
No.
What stat am I missing that doesn't allow me to fight that frequently? Oh no, we are all fighting at the same time. I just fight late.
Yeah, you fight like that.
It's initiative. You often aren't too bad. You're usually in the middle because it's such a big fight.
Yeah.
It's like being in the middle is you're nearer the end now, but that's just because there's a few high level guys in there. That's all. Eduardo naturally gets initiative with, I think it's wits.
Hey, you're like first. Look at you, silly bugger.
Oh, top of the ranks for
It's dangerous.
sneaky cheekiness. Uh-oh.
It's happening. Ooh.
So it looks like Ricochet hits multiple enemies one shot.
Damn.
The armor seems to be coming down pretty quickly on those slavers.
I reckon we can do some interesting stuff to them now.
Nice down.
Fighting wise.
Oh, good. Whew.
Oh, this archer. Oh, let's get the shackles of pain on him. Oh, got blocked.
Oh,
That's right, he just gave him a hit and suffocated him.
Oh, what the hell? Oh, interesting. So that fire attack turned to holy fire.
Yeah, he jumped in to get the holy fire. That's interesting. Ooh,
Ouch.
how you going there, Eduardo?
Oh, I'm doing alright. I've taken a little bit of damage, but I'm okay.
You got this.
The Magi screams in pain.
Ow!
She unleashes
Whoa.
an earthquake.
Damn.
Holy crap.
That
Okay.
earthquake wiped out my armor.
Oh my god.
She
Damn,
aims at
son.
Winston,
Oh, okay.
shores up his defenses.
I am fortified.
She was crazy.
She was crazy. Francis is like, nope.
Yeah, I don't blame her. Oh, why are there so many chickens in the attack order?
Francis gives you some protection.
Oh no!
The explosion brought the chickens in.
Sorry.
Are they evil chickens? They're evil chickens as well.
No.
They are
They're
evil
not.
chickens.
No way.
And there's evil sheep as well.
Where are they?
I'm in
The man you inspired last night decides he's willing to take a hit for you.
Oh wow! I'm glad we inspired him with my
And
really
he yells,
meaningful words.
To the Otara!
I yell, yes.
Yes, what was that?
Just was it with such fervor, or was it just like that?
I said
Yes.
yes.
Just look up to it and oh, yes.
Okay. Damn.
All right, you are basically protected from enemies at this stage.
We are good to go. We're about to be besieged by chickens.
Hold
Oh
fast
yeah,
against
that could be bad.
the feathered threat.
Sorry, Eduardo will turn one into a chicken.
Ah, perfect. Imagine Sailor.
I good,
just
it's raining blood, which is actually good for me.
called in the rain. The blood.
Oh no,
flow.
caw! Chicken no!
They're all
They
just
seem to be stunned in their place.
Take him out.
Oh, this tin
Now it
guy's
appears the
awesome.
elf has entered the fray.
That tall elf is here. Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Flesh sacrifice.
You weirdo.
Hey, you do that.
Yeah, well, I'm me though. I'm different. No. Oh, far out.
Where is he gone?
Where do you land?
Oh, there he is. Tim's right here.
Ah, shit. Whoa, not the sheep.
Oh, the sheep. Caw-caw.
Caw-caw. It is I. She has a lot happening right now.
I didn't even get a turn that time.
You were stunned.
Oh, I was stunned.
Oh, no.
By
The
you.
sheep
No, I
and the
didn't do
chicken
it.
ignite in flames and disappear from sight.
Good. I don't think they were meant to be in the battle.
I'm sad that I didn't get a chance to kill them. Oh, that's gonna be bad, isn't it? It's gonna be bad.
What's the play there?
Oh, there we go. This.
Oh, he's getting attacked from opportunity on you by Tim.
Tim McGraw.
I think you want to try and take Tim out.
I'll try and take whoever I can out.
Oh, you got someone?
Yep, got one of them.
Good.
I'm gonna
Okay,
go.
most of the guys here are good except for that archer.
I am now in position, and I will. Ah, here we go. Do one of these ones. Use a flesh sacrifice on myself to gain back an action point, so I can then take another guy down.
Nice.
Awesome, worth it.
The
I need
silver
it.
canary,
I need to take a
the
few
silver
guys down.
canaries around look quite nervous. And Penelope seems to think the victory is near. She lunges for the other archer,
Jeez. Nice.
Oh, nice.
severing his artery in one foul swoop.
She's a badass. Holy crap.
Severing his archery.
Ah, shh.
Uh-oh.
Alright, I'm completely out of armor.
Oh,
Lomas.
Ah,
He
gonna do.
he looks a little concerned. He's a bit worried, apparently, looking at his face. Not that you can see it very well from that distance.
Oh, he's going for it.
Oh boy.
He launches volley of arrows at the tall elf.
Ooh.
Getting a few shots in. Get a
Yeah,
few
he's doing
licks.
good. Glitter
Oh, he's
dust.
been marked.
Oh.
And
Alright.
he throws a poultice at Eduardo.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
It appears you've had a nap.
Nom 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 nom. Poultice. I'm pretty sure you rub poultices on you, not eat them. Whoops.
Well, it was thrown at your general direction. He rubbed it really hard.
Oh.
Whoa.
It appears this sniper for the Atara has snapped and is just wildly throwing anything at Tim.
Interesting.
Yeah, fucked him.
Screw that guy.
Nice.
It appears the merchant sailor knows a few things. Still knows a few things.
So
It's almost my turn. I'm
Man.
so ready.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, we're almost at your turn, Chris.
Finally.
Don't worry.
Finally. I'm evading. Uncannily.
You evade something, everyone's like,
Hmm.
wouldn't expect that.
That's pretty uncanny evasion there. Okay. Alright. It's almost time.
There's barely any enemy left.
That's alright. As long as there's something for Winston.
That'll be my goal now.
So take out all the enemies before Winston has a turn.
Right.
Alright, here we go. Here we go. Now, because if I actually kill someone, I get extra attacks.
Oh.
Well, one extra attack.
And Wada gets a little bit excited, and now it's your turn.
Alright, so there's this dude over here, the Silver Canary, but he's still full health.
Yeah,
Tim is obviously a target. His physical armor's close to gone. So I could try and smack that down with a normal attack.
Ooh. Smack him.
Smack his.
Smack a dirty boy.
Alright, I'm gonna go just give him a normal attack maybe. Unless I can give him a crippling blow. No, it can be resisted though. I'll smack him normally.
Yeah, get rid of his armor. There you go.
Nice. Armor's down. But all I can really do now is encourage. Encouragement!
Encourage. Have you got anything that gives you another AP?
I can set fire.
That could be handy.
That's blocked by magic armor though. I can do a phoenix dive.
Just do it.
Which will block it by magic armor, but hopefully it'll knock it down a bit.
The elf says something that you don't understand. Something along the lines of Il val galvalos. And then all of a sudden...
Oh shit.
Uh-oh.
Oh dear.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
That defender that you so rightfully turned to your side
Oh yes.
becomes your enemy.
Oh no.
Take out Tim.
Friend! I took his armor. That's why he has none now. And he is laying into me.
Take out Tim. Take out Tim.
I'm crippled. Oh no. Why do I need help?
Oh no. We are not well off. Oh boy.
Oh, I'm almost ready for a permanent nap.
Sleepy are we in your skills?
Ooh. Only got 82 HP left. If I was a Pokemon, I'd be going boo boom, boo boom,
You
boo
absolutely
boom,
would
boo
be.
boom.
Boom.
I'm unconscious as well.
Oh god, it's Tim. Where are you?
Huh?
It's
I'm
my
knocked
turn.
down and I'm crippled. I'm not feeling great.
I feel like if we get rid of Tim,
Can you heal me? Do you have that
I have
ability?
nothing.
You sure? You
Yeah.
might have scrolls for it. I certainly do.
Tim, the elf, says something else that you don't understand, Givel Vulalas,
Oh
and disappears.
Oh, I get the feeling we were going to get to kill him.
Oh, I can loot your body, Christopher.
That's not helpful.
Do I have any scrolls that can help? Resurrection, healing tears.
Healing ritual scroll. Yeah, healing scrolls.
The defender snaps out of it, and so does everyone else.
Oh, everyone's okay. Ah.
I really do a great deal.
Didn't heal a lot, but it's...
Appearing to be abandoned, the remaining silver canaries
Don't get away
surrender.
just yet.
Surrender.
Ah,
Do they? Alright, I'm gonna stand up and dust myself off. Woo! Good fight, guys! Good fight. Damn.
All right.
we did it.
I'm going to eat an
Francis seems quite distraught at the sight of his beautiful port town that he and his great-grandfather had carved out of the mountainside.
orange. Jeez. I'm gonna eat some ham.
There's a lot of blood in town.
I'm feeling better. I'm having some
There's a lot of guts too.
Look at this. Look at the remains of this battle, everyone. Damn. It is there's losses on every side, but it looks like most of the losses were on the Canaries side.
Thankfully.
Actually, I don't know if we lost anyone from outside.
Yeah, I can't see any bodies.
It would appear you did not, based on what my screen is telling me. No one. There's some serious injuries.
I yell out,
Fine.
Utara! And I do the thing.
Are you gonna encourage everyone? Yeah.
Oh,
I mumble to myself.
make a roll for me, Chris.
Alright.
I mumble to myself because I still
Oh,
don't know
no.
properly.
Make the roll, Barry, but don't worry about the result.
Alright.
Oh, that's a pretty low roll.
Oh, I wish I could.
And what succeeds where I fails.
No one looks particularly impressed with you proclaiming the Utara name when not being a bona fide Utara yet.
Oh.
But no one seems to be brashly offended. Just not really for you to.
And pretend I didn't say anything.
I'm
Oh,
like,
you pull an Eduardo. Okay, everyone ignores it.
oh, you know what I do? Not because you did that, but I was going to do it anyway. I like eye you over. I'm like, it's all right.
Yeah,
And I'm like, victory in a heroic tone.
Well,
Bit
that's
of a roll
no one has a
reversal
problem.
there.
Wouldn't that be like
No one-
even more awkward to say it after everyone awkwardly looks at me? I want to see what your role is.
So, the remaining Silver Canary
They weren't impressed.
walks towards you with his hands up, and he hands himself over to the custody of a Magi.
As he bloody should.
You made the right choice.
She walks over to him, sort of waves her hands around a bit, and
She does this.
she just did it. Oh,
She's
doesn't
from
look like
Power.
Yeah.
Where's the Silver Canary?
and she pins him to the ground.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
He's not going anywhere.
I move in.
They also move in.
Well, I'm not going to take over the conversation and investigate and interrogate him, just in case someone else wants to. We're not the leaders here.
Yep. We are just the help. In your hands.
I just realized that the whole time I could have been healing from the blood.
Oh. Whoops.
Healing.
Oh, that's interesting.
From the blood.
I thought it was a what do you call it? Like a passive ability.
No,
Both of you, there is a passive one. There is a passive
there
one.
is a better one.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Both of
I
you,
feel
it's called
fantastic.
Leech. Both of you make perception rolls, please.
Alright, I perceive nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Zilch.
You notice out of the corner of your eye, Eduardo, just next to your feet, something that fell from Tim's armor as you were battling him.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay.
I, as to not draw any attention to it, I get a little bit selfish after the battle because I didn't find any spoils on anyone. I turn around.
Well,
Around.
Are you attempting to pick it up without being seen?
No, not yet. I just go, my shoelaces, and I bend down to inspect the what I see as an amulet on the ground. What can I glean from it?
Well, before you do anything else, okay. So it just looks like you're going down to do your laces up on your laceless boots.
It's just like he's wearing. Yeah. They're just leather boots.
It's just a goofball.
Yeah.
All right, so you want to do it? You want to investigate it? Not a
Eduardo
problem.
needs to accept that he's not a good character, which is fine. You can lean into it, but just don't pretend to be good.
Wow. All right.
Oh wow, you banged that out of the park. Okay, so you recognize it immediately. You've seen it before.
You're just like putting leaves, bits of grass on your shoe,
well,
pretending to lace
You
them.
haven't. You're just mucking around in that corpse you're standing next to. You recognize it almost immediately. Not the it's a necklace, but it's not the necklace that you recognize, but the jewels on it.
Oh.
You immediately recognize them. You've seen them before around the neck of Uncle Pat Pat,
Oh.
Uncle Pineapple. You've seen him with one on a ring and one on a locket.
Okay.
It hums with mystical energy as your hand gets near it.
The humming sounds like bongo drums.
On the tropical island. I do I see anything like out of place with it at all, or does it just look like a necklace? That's humming to me. Because I do want to pick it up, but I'm very tentative because it was a bad guy's.
You can pick it up.
It doesn't appear to be harmful in any way. It doesn't seem that it would do you any damage.
Perfect. All right.
Well, it doesn't seem that way.
I feign as I'm on one knee tying up my shoe as my foot is right next to the necklace. I reach down to tie my laces up and bow them
Fuck it up.
and just like sneak it up and like into the old pocket.
Give it a shot.
Huh.
Oh, no.
As you do it,
Oh, man, I'm so glad I wasn't
you go to
involved in the
pick it up.
exchange.
You trip forward, You headbutt the Utara in front of you in the shin, and you incidentally flick the amulet right at the feet of Winston. The Utara is like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
What's that? I feign surprise. Sora's tie my shoelaces, and I like move quickly to make sure he can't see. Then I shuffle awkwardly away from Winston to make sure he doesn't know. Then I'm just
Winston,
like,
Winston, I need you to make 2 checks right now.
Oh man, I'm fairly sure I should perceive this.
Okay, I need you to make another one.
I try and.
You can't do anything while this is happening.
Sure, I can.
Okay, so not only do you notice that he's clearly trying to hide it from you, but you obviously see it. And I'm going to need you to make one more roll.
Oh, what necklace? What are you talking about? There's nothing here under this bush.
He's noticed all of it, Barry. He's noticed all of it. Oh, okay. It kind of hit your shoe. You tried to flick it up, and it just kind of fell back to the ground.
Gotcha.
Oh, hey.
I'm going to pick it up before Eduardo does, because I feel like bad things are going to happen if he picks it up.
Okay, go for it.
But I'm going to announce that I'm picking it up, because I don't want to... Because I am actually a good character.
Okay, you announce it to whom?
It's just to...
Winston!
Just to the nearest
Winston!
Atara near me.
Shh!
Guys,
Winston!
just picking up this amulet I found. Just picking up an amulet.
You don't understand. Uncle Pat.
Well,
Uncle Napdap's like
Lo-
the same necklace.
Lomas runs over as Penelope moves towards you as well.
I was going to tell you afterwards.
I don't know that. I don't trust you. Your character is not
And
demonstrating trust.
they both ask for you to show it to them. You can just say you hold it in your hand. You don't have to throw it around.
I hold it out Legend of Zelda style.
Wunderbar. Okay, so Eduardo, are you watching this transpire as well?
I'm listening intently whilst pretending not to pay attention.
Oh, damn.
Both of you. Oh, not finesse check. Oh, don't worry about it. Finesse. It's fine. The results what matters.
Ooh.
Lomas clearly recognizes it immediately, and as does Penelope. They both recognize it, but they don't necessarily say anything.
Interesting.
They just go, "Oh."
Well, I may have to call them out on that. I'm just going to have a quick glance at this while it's in front of me. Look at that.
Yep.
It grants Spirit Vision, and it is level 50.
Woof.
Woof, woof, woof.
Woof. Woof, woof.
I'm going to call them out on it. Guys, it looks like this is not the first time you've seen this amulet. What are you not telling us? I say persuasively.
Lomas sort of looks towards Penelope, and Penelope nods.
Ooh, we're good to go. Free roll.
And he just goes, "Oh, that's all elven stuff. That's very valuable, but nothing special. I'll gladly take it off your hands.
Eduardo, you better jump in.
How's
I'm not gonna keep prompting you.
how's 3,000 gold sound?"
I pause and continue pausing.
Hey! No, thank you. But what is this amulet? I'm sure I had a look at it, and I know there's something up with this amulet. An amulet, yes.
What else?
Tell us what it is.
You know what it is more than I do. You haven't even told me yet.
All I know is that you ruined everything, Winston. I ruined everything first, then you ruined everything.
I ruined nothing. You ruined everything.
Your odd speech patterns have inadvertently,
like unlocked something in his brain. It's like, well, all right.
yeah, inadvertently. Oh yeah, like secret, like a secret, like a sleeper cell type thing. You said the right combinations of gibberish. And he goes, "You shouldn't have that. You can't be trusted with it. I'll give you 3,000 gold, and I walk away with it now." And Penelope goes, "It's probably best to give it to him."
Why? Tell us why. We can't entrust it without knowing what it is.
It's beyond you, and you don't need to worry about it.
I look shocked and worried about it.
Alright, I might have to jump in with some persuasion
Winston?
here. We need to know more. Guys, clearly you want this amulet. The money is not of concern. Eduardo seems connected to this. We need to know what it is before we can just hand it over. Please tell us more. Persuasively.
Not bad. It's like pretty much almost
All right.
a crit.
That's a 18.
He says, Penelope sort of just nods at him again, right? He says, that thing's older than you and me, and everyone here combined, and it is very dangerous. Unless you know how to use it, you could absolutely screw yourself.
Lomas, how is it dangerous? I feel like we're talking circles here, bro.
Just don't touch the gems.
Well, luckily I haven't so far.
I was close to when I like kicked it up in the air and headbutted a man. Winston, I
Just
don't think
give
we're
it to
gonna
me.
get away with it.
Let me discuss with my companion here. He seems to know. He seems to have a family tie with it. We'll be back in a moment.
He doesn't look happy.
Okay. I get that from his tone. Eduardo.
You're pacing, Winston. What's wrong? Hold on. There we go.
Eduardo, you need to fill me in real quick. I'm seconds away from handing this amulet over.
God
what is going on?
Damn it, Winston. Why? Why? I was going to keep it secret until we get out of here, but things didn't go as planned.
Well, you gotta tell me when you're about to do crazy shit.
I didn't think it was going to be crazy. I thought I was just going to pick... Anyway. That's not important. What's important is Uncle Nap had the same gems.
The same gems?
The same. The very same. I know it.
Is this his amulet?
No, I don't believe so. But let me make a roll to make sure. In fact, I have no idea. I cannot speak with any
like, I have no idea. I'm sure of it.
Winston, make a roll right now.
Ooh.
Oh, Eduardo out of nowhere appears to lunge at the gems going to directly touch them.
Huh.
And you manage to spin around and place the amulet under a plate of armor.
Huh. Wait, was that a reflex that you had no control over that?
I don't believe so, no. What? Control of what?
Eduardo was overwhelmed with the urge to touch the gems.
Winston, give it to them.
Eduardo, I don't know what to do with this. I think we shouldn't have it.
I've walked off on you.
Okay. That's very rude. I jot it down in my grievances of Eduardo book.
Like a running log of just like shit I've done that's bad.
I find it depressing that after only a few weeks of travel, I'm up to page 75.
I'm on book 4.
I walk back.
And as you walk back,
so
I walk away to contemplate what the hell just happened.
Lummus.
So you decide to hand it to Lummus?
Lummus, I'm going to give you this amulet. I don't need the money. I just need you to trust that we needed to trust you before we can hand it across.
He goes, I just hand it over and be careful.
I can't touch it from the top of the thing, nowhere near the gems.
Yep, and you attempt to hand it to him?
Yes. Uh-oh.
Oh, God.
As you hand it to him, the edge of your palm, the heel of your palm from under your
You really want
gauntlet
us to touch this?
just touches.
I come running back.
Just touches, and you feel it.
Yes, yes.
you feel a pain running through your arm.
Uh-oh, the game is paused.
You go blind, and Eduardo has a similar pain in his head.
Joint pain.
Interesting. 20. Oh, no.
Uh-oh. Hey, at least we did it by accident.
Yeah. I mean, I tripped over and I still didn't touch it, man. And you were just like deliberately not touching it, and you touched it.
I was like being really careful.
And you wake up. You wake up feeling quite woozy in an unknown basement.
Interesting. I'm wondering whether we should leave it here, because this seems like it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
And also a really good cliffhanger for next time.
Yeah, I don't want to rush it.
Interesting.
I'm checking out everything.
Metric done. What is your feel? Should we wrap it up here for tonight?
Yeah, that's fine with me. This
Yeah.
is yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Cliffhanger, I like it.
Oh man, I'm like super like want to play this for another hour and like find out what's going on.
Yeah,
but I also
same.
like want to come back and
God damn it.
have something to look forward to.
Yeah, exactly right. I want to find out what the hell's going on here.
Oh, it's going to be an extra long cliffhanger as well because next week I might not be around.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But let me jump out. Ooh.
Okay, yep.
Far out.
Oh.
Man.
All right, let me press this old
I'm exiting as well.
button here.
Woo. Far out. Okay, so
We touched the amulet and we got transported. We think.
both of us. Both of us did.
Even though you didn't touch it.
Yeah, I was away.
Interesting.
I was far away
Interesting.
from you.
That's just the property of the amulet. I didn't want anything to happen.
Oh, whoops.
Oh, whoopsie
This is
doo.
how things happen.
Oh man. Wow, that's very interesting. Oops. I'm just
Doodles.
doing things off screen that are not working for me. What is going on? That's fine.
You'll do.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Thank you again, Metric Done. It's getting crazy.
It's just getting thicker and
I think
thicker.
each episode's getting 15% more tropical.
Yeah.
We're going to like a tropical climax. It's going to be very interesting. Think of that whatever you will.
All I can think of is the wording of that. Just I now have to make that. I have to work that into the story somehow.
No, not a
Maybe that's
tropical
how Ed
climax.
discovers sexuality. A tropical climax. I don't know whether to get literal with it or metaphorical.
Oh man!
All
I'm
physical, baby.
finding out that Eduardo's character is not a good person.
I feel like over time, like he's realizing. I'm guessing because of his island upbringing, you would have had to salvage everything you could on an island.
Yeah.
So like, I'm just like, oh, this is valuable. Oh, I need this.
Are you slowly realizing that you shouldn't take things, or are you realizing the opposite, that you want to continue taking
I
them?
think I'm realizing the more I take, the stronger I get. So I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's okay. If his character has conflicts, then that will be interesting. That will be interesting. We'll see how that plays out.
There's some interesting ideas about how that can work.
Yeah, that could go badly. At the moment, I still kind of somehow trust him, but not like his general character. So,
Perfect. Just where I want my
mainly,
friends.
I think the main reason, like, why my character trusts Eduardo at the moment is because he knows that I'm the Ashen One and is still sticking by me.
Yeah,
And like that means more than him like pilfering a few things to me.
exactly right. What's a couple of thousand gold here or there?
So like that's enough for me to like stay with him. Like in normal circumstances, I may have deserted him.
Yeah, exactly right. And well, like you know,
most else would have killed you for that.
Yes, exactly. So that goes a long way.
it's either that like I care enough about you not to kill you, or I'm just like,
I've like no idea what's going on.
Ash, huh?
We'll find out next time.
On Metric Dungeons.
Thank you so much, guys. We're going to head off, finish our pizza, have a nap.
Delish.
And so just for next week, there's a small chance that I might not be available. So that will mean that we won't do a Metrics Dungeon because I think a Metrics Dungeon with just Eduardo would be
A bad
very,
time.
very strange.
It's probably, I mean, it's doable, but yeah, I recommend leaving it. I mean, anything's doable, but yeah.
probably need the balance.
I think yeah.
But yeah, no, we'll just have we'll have an off week and we will just play a few games and like. I think either way we'll probably still have an off week and maybe do. I've had a few people, a few of our Stormers suggest that we can do Planet Coaster, or a few things like that. I feel like we have a few things to add to the theme park now.
Oh my
So
god.
we can do an end of the month sort of just fun cool down sesh. No one has to prep for anything. Everyone gets to relax, which includes you, Metrics Done. You get a chance to relax, and
Oh yeah, that's fine.
and then we'll come back. And this is a long cliffhanger. It's
Oh,
almost, it's
yeah.
almost
Oh,
like
it's-
an end of mid-season break
Yeah.
for the Oscars. Ooh, I hope we get the award. Oh, jeez. All
Sorry,
right.
who's another one? Yep.
All good?
All good.
Thank you, sir. Let's
Thank
do
you
it.
very much. Let us ascend to GameStormers heaven.
Does that mean we're dying?
No, maybe.
Okay.
I've thought that far into it.
All right, guys. Have a good night. We'll see you next week.
See you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.